Good morning, millennials.
Welcome back to The Toast and happy Friday, gorgeous girls. Happy Friday to all the gorgeous girls out there being gorgeous, being girly, and celebracioning the fact that it's Friday. Yeah, not a big deal. We're so chill about it. Like, it's not a big deal.
Congratulations on graduating the 24th week of the year.
What an amazing accomplishment for everyone. It's
so important to celebrate the small wins.
I never imagined that I, just a little girl, from New York City, would be graduating the 24th week of the year. And that's why it's so important to dream big.
The 24th week of 2024. It's really poignant that we mark this milestone.
100%.
How you doing, La?
I'm doing so good. So excited about, the week ahead, the weekend ahead. So much to be grateful for. And today's one of those days where I'm really feeling grateful for my health because I had a bit of a health scare last night.
Okay.
Ben and I hit the town last night, which I don't often do. We hit the town. We had a couple events to attend. We had dinner, being out and about, fashionistas, it girls, things of that nature. And we got home. We went to sleep. I would say I was asleep for maybe 20, 30 minutes before I woke up writhing in pain. Now, I have heard people say, like, there are, stomach pains that are so bad you go to the hospital and it ends up just being gas. And I've known that that's a thing. And I think as it was happening to me, like, I knew
that was an option.
That was an option, but it was so bad. And I'm still like I'm having residuals right now, but it was so bad that I'm like, no, this is worse than what people talk about. Like, I must be having kidney stones. Like, and especially, like, it's not where you would expect gas pains to be. Like, to me, they felt like period cramps, but like on crack. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I woke Ben up. I'm like screaming, crying, throwing up, like so much pain. And Ben was like, let's go to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be a cliche. Like, I'm not gonna be one of these people. I'm sorry. And he's like, okay, take a Tom and take Gas X just in case it's gas. And I felt like him saying it was gas was like really minimizing my pain and belittling my feelings. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I'll entertain this clown and take the Gas X. And I will say within like 10 minutes, like I knew it was gas because it was getting significantly better, enough to a place where I could go to sleep. But I was shivering. Like, I felt like I had a fever. It was so crazy. It was the worst experience of my fucking life. I couldn't unfurl myself from the fetal position. Like, the fetal position was the only thing keeping me alive.
Did you have heating pad?
Okay. Of course, yesterday my heating pad blows out. And these like cheap, I get these like cheap ones from Amazon. They're totally made in China, but they're huge. Like, they're probably 4 times the size of a regular heating pad. And I like them. And something I know is that I have to replace them every couple of months. And I've made peace with that. Mine blows out yesterday. I didn't immediately buy a new one because I knew I had another one somewhere in the house. Mm-hmm. We found it last night, the second one, the second in command. It's also blown out. It's working for like 10 minutes at a time. So at least I got that. And I made Ben keep getting up and plugging it back in. Once you like take it out, plug it back in. Like, they're janky as fuck, but I know how to work them. You need like one
standard heating pad, like for medical, like the way you have a first aid kit in your house.
Yeah.
Like you need a heating pad for issues of the tummy and back.
It seriously saved my life. That and I have long been an advocate for Gas X. I think when people talk about over-the-counter drugs, like, Advil, Tylenol, people are always going on about, the top drugs. And Gas X never gets its shine. I feel like it's constantly being overshadowed by like Pepto-Bismol or Tums. Gas X is in its own fucking league.
But that's because they don't do the advertising. Like Pepto-Bismol has their jingle.
It's true.
And
I've never even seen a commercial.
Resting on its laurels of like, we don't need to prove to you why we're so good.
And I agree with them. Like, seriously, Gas X is a life-changing medicine. And I find it difficult to find, especially, I think they're trying to compete with Tums. They came out with like their own chewables, and a lot of times when you're going to look at the grocery store or the pharmacy, they'll be selling only the chewables. I don't fuck with the chewables. They're capsules. 2 capsules can save lives. It happened to me last night. I am kind of tired. I'm growing tired of nobody talking about and giving credence to Gas X. It is seriously a miracle drug.
That is so wonderful. We read a book for the Redheads, Lady Tan Circle of Women. It's about Eastern medicine. And it wasn't even the book that got me thinking about it. It was the Redheads discussion, because all the girls were talking about what it made them think about like Eastern medicine. I'm like, oh, I really didn't think that much while I was reading it. But now the discussion among the swirlies, riveting discussions, really making me think more of like, medicine is great. Like, I mean, it's so great to alleviate your symptoms. Like, thank you.
I actually can't have this conversation with you because I live with Ben Soffer and I have this conversation every weekend.
Okay, no, I don't know if you know what I'm going to say next. Like, thank you. Like, thank you for the medicine. My symptoms are alleviated. So now, like, we need to be talking about, like, what happened. Like, what is the issue? These are, like, Band-Aids, but, like, what is the root issue? Like, why did your stomach hurt?
I thought what you were going to say, which Ben talks about all the time, is, like, we as human beings are prone naturally to headaches or whatever. And Advil, yes, is amazing. But he, like, firmly believes, like, in nature, and he's really into Eastern medicine. Like, there is a solvent, and you know what I mean? Like, there is a solution. There is a positive and a negative that can definitely be found in nature. Like, Ben believes, like, there is a leaf out there that was literally, like, put on this earth by God to alleviate headaches. Like, there is something in nature to counteract every human symptom. That's what he believes.
I agree for the natural symptoms, but then I think there are also man-made symptoms. I thought that's what you were going to say, he says, where it's like, I have this headache, and so Big Pharma's going to cure it, but big food created it.
Yeah, no, Ben's not down that conspiracy theory yet either.
I don't know,
but
I saw a clip of Good Guys and Vinny, and I think they're close.
I agree, by the way, with what you're saying. Oh my God, I am noticing how often I say, by the way. Like, it's actually kind of bad.
It's okay, by the way.
I wish I knew how to undo it, but I don't.
So there are a lot of different conversations here. And I do feel like sometimes, like a stomach ache, your stomach ache was probably man-made by whatever you ate that day.
Some crap.
So the cure has to be man-made as well. But I do feel like I get migraines, of course. And sometimes I get a headache if I didn't drink enough water that day. Like, I've created this torture for myself. But also, I get hormonal migraines. A lot of women do. And that has nothing. I could be perfect, like, on my scorecard of being healthy, and I'll still get a hormonal migraine. Like, what is the remedy in nature for that? Like, I want to know what Lady Tan would have prescribed me for that.
Yeah, I definitely see you, and this journey that you're on, you definitely getting to a place where you don't take medicine anymore. I feel like you don't even really take medicine that much.
I actually feel like I have my things that I really rely on. Like, I rely on my migraine medication, rizatriptan. Like, I'm not interested in trying
I mean more like over the counter. Like,
Advil?
I live in a big over-the-counter house. Like, we rely heavily on Tums, on Advil, on Gas-X, on Pepto-Bismol. Like, we always have those things fully stocked, and, like, we're taking them out on a weekly basis. I feel like you don't really fuck with those types of medications.
I don't, because I don't think they work when I need them to work. Like, when I have a headache, Advil is no match for my headache.
Oh, my God. Advil, seriously, it's hard for, like, which one I love more.
I have my prescription Advils that I got prescribed after I gave birth that are just amazing.
They hit different.
Actually, yeah, because they're stronger. They're my in-between between, like, an Advil and my migraine medication.
All that to say, like, I understand the impact of Big Pharma. Like, I understand the concern. I saw, what was that show called?
Dope Sick?
Dope Sick. Like, I understand they're evil. I'm holding space for two truths. Like, they are evil, but their products, like, I love, and they make my life amazing.
I think there are degrees of the truth. It's not even two. It's not just binary. It's fluid.
So, Gas-X saved my life. Last night, a Gas-X saved my life.
And I also feel like Tums shouldn't go in that category because they're made of chalk, which can be found in nature. So
nature, yeah.
It's a natural remedy.
Tums is amazing.
Also, sometimes I used to get really bad gas stomach pain, so that's why I know what you're talking about. And I was one of those people who went to the hospital once. 2 Gas-X and a chewable Pepto-Bismol. You got to top it off.
I did. I topped it off with a Tum, though.
Oh, okay. You got that chalky flavor.
I was throwing everything at it,
Yeah. And then, of course, if you really want to attack the root issues, like, it starts with gut health. And you know what's great for gut health? Sourdough.
Very true.
You didn't have those issues when you were eating good at my house.
No. How's the butter dish? Did you use it yesterday?
I haven't used it yet because I don't know if I was asleep in a dream it came to me or what, but I was like, maybe I should make my own butter for this dish. That would be exciting. Oh, this is why. No, let me tell you why. Because the butter that I use at home, and I am so grateful for your gesture, but I use breakstones. How do you put that in a butter dish? You don't.
You can't put breakstones in a corner.
It comes in a tub. So I don't use that slab of butter.
You don't? That's like the best butter.
Only for cooking.
Oh, and literally when I was at your house, that's the butter I used.
Because it was out because I was cooking bread.
Well, you need to get on, like, nice butter sticks. But yes, making your own butter, and you can, like, also form it into whatever shape you want. It's actually pretty easy. I see people doing it on TikTok. If you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, like, you don't have to do anything.
Right, because Lauren Elizabeth did it. That made me realize that I can do hard things too.
No, and making butter, while you make butter, you also make your own heavy cream because, like, you have to separate the liquid from the solids. The solid is the butter, and the liquid is literally milk. You can make your own milk too.
Wow, but it wasn't it originally milk?
Wait. You put heavy whipping cream. How do you?
Do you put heavy whipping cream? So not just like Whole milk?
No. You need like a very specific, I think it's heavy whipping cream. You whip it, the solids become butter, and then the liquid becomes milk.
Okay, that makes sense.
You should do that, by the way. It's also like, I've seen people do it on TikTok, and it's definitely something I can do.
It looks extremely easy. It looks like a thing that looks hard, but is actually much easier than it looks. It's not like the old days of churning butter.
No. Thanks to the KitchenAid mixer. You just need a cheesecloth. Do you own cheesecloths yet? I feel like that's also something in your journey.
No, that's the next step on my journey.
Yeah. So I'm doing okay. I'm feeling grateful for my health today. I'm just waiting for like a big fart to come. That's the thing about, I also told Ben, I'm like, I felt all this relief, but I didn't fart. Like, I just went to sleep.
You want to know something funny about farts?
Yes.
It also has to do with my favorite thing, Tesla.
Sourdough?
My Tesla has like, they have these funny apps because you know Elon's a jokester. So it has this app, I didn't even know about it until Zach pulled it up. It's a whoopee cushion thing where you can move the whoopee cushion around. It has the 4 seats of the car and you put the whoopee cushion in and press it and it makes it sound like that person in that seat like ripped ass.
Oh, that's funny. I knew that they had like a fart sound effect. You can make it like your horn.
Your horn could sound like a fart, yeah.
But I didn't know that you actually could be pulling, oh my God.
And then I also learned from Elon's memoirs of an Elon. It's actually not his memoirs. It's third person, the third person who tried to ruin the book. But there's a voice command in the Tesla. If you say open butthole, your trunk opens.
Oh, that's funny. Wait, I'm so glad you brought up pranks. I've been wanting to tell a story here. I literally felt like a grandma like a couple of days ago. I was the victim of a prank call by like these teenagers. And honestly, I like wanted to indulge them. It was so obvious that it was a prank, but they had like a good angle. I feel like when we were kids, but we always pretended to be like pizza guy or whatever. They pretended to be the exterminator, which felt personal, like for sure. I don't know if these people were calling me like as toasters or whatever. And it was so lame. Like, they obviously don't know *67. Like their full phone number came up, and you know, Apple has this thing now. If somebody calls you and you don't have their number, you literally get their name. I'm like, "Hi, Ronnie," and when I said her name, like she did freak out. But the first couple of seconds, it was like 3 little girls, and they kept like switching the phone. It was so poorly
for them.
It was so poorly executed. But I'm glad that like that's what kids are still doing because that is harmless fun as long as you're not like bullying someone from school on the phone. Like it was really sweet and endearing, and I gave it to them for the first couple of minutes. Like I wanted them to like, this was a canon event for them. They are going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and that was so nice of you to give that to them. And it also speaks to the fact that they probably don't have smartphones. They just have flip phones, cell phones, which is like what a lot of parents do for kids when they want their kid to have a phone, but not a smartphone because then, you know, it's the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So Ronnie from Florida, like I love you. I hope that you and your friends like had a nice giggle. And I'm so glad I could have been like a part of that extremely important adolescent moment for you. I like loved it, but I also felt like such a grandma. It was like, I'm laying home alone, like in bed, and these girls are like all hanging out. I'm like kind of like the loser in their high school, you know?
Yeah. No, you're not in high school. Like,
you know, I'm a fully grown woman.
Yeah, no, like you're the adult in the room.
Yes, I am. How frightening is that?
Yeah.
So it's just like a little bit about me. Gas, prank calls, things of that nature.
Things of that ilk. Well, that's really wonderful.
We are so busy today.
So busy. I'm very excited. We have a lot to do. All very exciting things to do.
I watched Summer House this morning. I am enraged.
Claudia, thank you. I'm enraged.
I took notes, and I'm also glad that I watched it this morning because, you know, sometimes you watch something and you can like feel really heated about it, but by the next day, like you've moved on with your life. I stayed there, dust collecting round my pinned up hair. I'm still there. I'm right where you left me. I'm fucking furious.
I'm fucking furious. It was infuriating. I don't think I've felt that angry at a reunion since Monique, yeah.
Real Housewives of Potomac, since they did Monique so goddamn dirty.
The whole cast and Andy.
The whole cast and Andy, but specifically Amanda and Kyle. And obviously, like, I hate Kyle, and I'm clearly biased in that. But I actually really like Amanda. Like, I've been able to separate church and state. Like, I think she's just fabulous. She was so unfabulous last night. And, I mean, talk about living in a glass house and throwing stones. Like, we're criticizing someone's relationship. Respectfully, Amanda, like, you should sit this one out.
Right. Also, I understand Kyle, even though he was infuriating me, like, and shut up and let Lindsay
talk. Like chirping chicken.
I understand him backing up Carl. Technically, it's the same thing Paige was doing for Sierra. It was just like not as pleasant to watch, you know? But like technically it's the same thing. A friend speaking on behalf of a friend who's hurting, right?
Yeah, I felt like it was different because Sierra was like on the verge of tears the whole time. And to me, Ciara's like not a liar and Paige is not a liar. Like they're trusted sources. So I know if Paige is saying something, that's exactly how it happened.
Yes,
like,
but
she heard it from Ciara.
Face, it's just like a friend speaking for the friend, the injured party. Like I shouldn't have issue with it. So I'm going to allow Kyle to be like so fucking annoying, whatever. Amanda, like so unacceptable. So far removed from the situation. Like, please stop chirping in. Also, like, God forbid, and I hate this term but like, where's the girls? Like, and I know Lindsay's not one herself, but being a girl's girl, as they say, like, it's not conditional. Just because she's not one doesn't mean that, like, you then don't turn into one either. Like, I don't know why everybody had to pile on, especially when, like, the pile on between Carl, Kyle, and Andy was good enough. So, like, the fact that she has it coming from literally all sides was really, really infuriating, except for Gabby, my queen.
Gabby, my queen. I also feel like last night's episode and the reunion in general is really proof. Like, because I don't think the cast really needs to be shaken up that much, but there's a lot of people there doing, like, nothing. And I don't think Danielle said, she was asked one question.
In the second episode.
Yeah, and in the first, she didn't really say much either, except for actually, no, I take that back. She had the whole drama with that made her look so bad with selling the story to Elite Daily or whatever.
Yeah, so I think as far as people who could go, she would be one of them, and I think she's a good person to have in the house from a production standpoint, because you just never know what she's going to say or do, and things pop off when she's around. So, like, I think the cast will stay exactly as it is.
Yeah, I could see them being like, we don't have a need for Gabby, because she really, like, she popped off at the reunion, but in this season, like, but I really need her to stay. I think, like, there's a lot of potential there, and it really wouldn't be fair if there's nobody on Lindsay's side.
Yes, and I feel like Lindsay wouldn't go into a house where she doesn't have one friend. They definitely want Lindsay to come back. I think that they're a package deal.
I have so much to say.
So let's save it for the recap. And without further ado, get into the Fast 5 stories that you need to know.
And the Fast 5 stories that you need to know are brought to you by ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. Thank you, ASPCA Pet Health Insurance and the Pet Health Insurance Program, for sponsoring today's episode. You know, pets, and I meant to tell you this, I had a dream about Bruno last night. Pets are so important to us. Like, family isn't even they're my blood.
Yeah.
And their health, as we've learned in the last year, very unfortunately, is a priority. And if your pet is a part of your family, you of course want the best for them no matter what. Vet bills can really add up. And that's why you should check out pet insurance. With ASPCA Pet Health Insurance, you can focus on the care that your pet deserves and cover what matters most. In today's world, we insure a lot. Cars, homes, cell phones, even travel plans. But what about insurance for your cat or your dog? With ASPCA Pet Health Insurance, you can focus on the care that your pet deserves and cover what matters to you most. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you to help your pet get the care that they may need. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program has been around for over 18 years, and they've helped more than 600,000 pets during that time. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are. And because vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. So to explore coverage, visit ASPCAPetInsurance.com/toast. That's ASPCAPetInsurance.com/toast. Again, that's ASPCAPetInsurance.com/toast. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Today's episode is also brought to you by Haya. If you've got a kitty in your life, you know how important it is, like whole body health, nutrition, and getting them all of their vitamins and nutrients. And the typical children's vitamins, like, you know, the ones we took growing up, they're basically candy in disguise. They're filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and basically other gummy junk that a kid who's growing really shouldn't be eating. And that's why Haya was created, the pediatrician approved superpowered chewable vitamin. While most children's vitamins are made with 5 grams of sugar, they also can contribute to a variety of health issues. Haya is made with 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk, but it tastes great and is perfect for even picky eaters. Haya fills the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment that your kids need with a yummy taste that they love. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, it's vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, basically free of anything that you can imagine, except fun, you know? We've worked out a special deal for the Haya girlies. It's their best-selling children's vitamin. You can receive 50% off your first order when you go to hiyahealth.com/toast. This deal is not available on their regular website, only HIYA Health, HEALTH.com/toast to get your kids the full-body nourishment that they need to grow into healthy adults. That's Hiya Health. Thank you so much. Today's episode is also brought to you by Court Furniture Rental. With Court Furniture Rental, you can get the furniture and services that you need to help make every life transition as seamless as possible. So whether you're making a short-term, long-distance move, relocating, starting a new chapter, or you simply just don't want to be tied down to owning furniture, Court is a solution for you. I love Court. And by the way, I've been seeing Court trucks like popping up all over New York.
Me too.
This is definitely a trend that's taking on, and it's so brilliant. When I even think about how much furniture from my last apartment to my current apartment I had to get rid of, it's so wasteful. Things don't fit. You need a new aesthetic. Like, renting furniture is so brilliant, and Court is the place to do it. The way we live is just shifting, whether you move a lot, whether you're sort of have that wanderlust energy, or you're like a person who likes to be tied down but not to furniture. Check out Court Furniture Rental, because Furniture Rental lets you lean into the different eras of your life. You can rent what you need, return it when you're ready for the next chapter, so you can be in your rent, not own era. Court makes it easy to furnish a space quickly and on your own terms. They have white glove delivery, setup, and assembly, plus they pick it all up when you're on to your next move. With Court, you can rent the furniture that you need when you need it. Their expert design team is here to make your move easy as possible. You can select one of their move-in ready packages. You can receive free professional styling to ensure your home fits your needs. Give them a few details about your space and they'll basically do the rest. White glove delivery is included. So build your own furniture rental package today at Court.com. That's CORT.com/podcast. Court.com, CORT.com/podcast.
Thank you, La.
You're welcome.
Our first story, a little feud news.
Feud news.
Not food news, feud news. Bebe Rexha calls G-Eazy an ungrateful loser after being asked to shoot social content with him. So this story is surprising, but
yeah.
Bebe Rexha posted to her Instagram story a screenshot of text messages of, it seems like someone on her team asking if she has any interest in shooting social content with G-Eazy when in New York, Me, Myself, and I, which is a song that they did together years ago.
And I think it must be having like an anniversary or something, so they wanted to like make some social stuff.
Right. So she took a screenshot, posted to her story, at G-Eazy, you have my number. Why don't you text me and ask me yourself, you stuck-up ungrateful loser. You're lucky people are liking you again, because I could go in on all the shitty things you've done and how you treated me after giving you your only real hit. By the way, the answer is no. Hope you good.
Then she deleted it and tweeted an explanation.
And then tweeted this. Someone from my team had me take down my Instagram story. I decided to remove it because it felt very negative and toxic. Sometimes trauma can lead us to react that way, and that period of my life was traumatizing. I am writing this because I regret taking it down, and I want to say that I still stand by what I said.
So I feel like this is not the first time Bebe Rexha's Instagram stories are making waves, where she's posting personal conversations and like outing people as whatever, and then also deleting it. And both times, like, I have felt that she handles like situations like this really poorly. However, we know G-Eazy to be a piece of shit. You know, we all heard that song Halsey wrote about him. I'm so glad I never ever had a baby with you. There are some pretty heinous allegations out there about him. Like, he is a certified piece of shit. So I stand with Bebe Rexha. I can only imagine what working with him was like. However, like, she really needs to work on her like scandal and her public facing drama. She always handles things like really poorly. Posting and deleting is the worst thing you could do.
Agreed, but I do separate this from that conversation thing with her boyfriend about like being fat.
Her weight.
Yeah, like, yeah. That, I didn't even think about that when thinking about this, because it feels like two different things, especially because that's like so personal, and like this is a business, professional, public relationship. And yeah. I think the issue is more so like the posting and deleting and then saying I still stand by it. Like, it's giving willy-nilly, and that's not a feature I like in a person.
And like, the only proof that we have is like that screenshot where basically she appears to be angry that G-Eazy like had his team reach out to her team to shoot social content and not just him texting her, which honestly is not a crime. And I think that's how a lot of even like celebrities who are really close, like that's how they handle things. That's how you get things on the schedule, like your team talking to the other person's team. It's really not a big deal, and I don't think like her being upset about that is warranted. However, I imagine she has horrible stories about him. And I just think, like, she handled this wrong and weird. So the hill you're dying on and the thing you're going to share with us is that you're mad that he didn't just text you directly. It's like literally not a big deal.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to share with us. And you're saying there might be these really bad experiences, but I don't know, and I can't even honestly think of what it could be. I don't really know anything about G-Eazy. Even some of the things you're saying, like we all know, I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
That song that Halsey released that really became like an anthem for domestic violence.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so many people like shared their stories and like I fucking hate G-Eazy. Like that's just like I stand with Halsey.
For sure. I love that song. I never even knew that's what it was about. That's like one of my favorite treadmill songs.
No, it's by the way, it's a really empowering song. Let me read the lyrics.
You should be sad. That's the song.
It's called You Should Be Sad. Yeah, and here's some of the lyrics. Oh, yeah, and you can fill the hole inside you with money, drugs, and cars. So I want to start out this and say, I got to get this off my chest. Got no anger, got no malice, just a little bit of regret. No, nobody else will tell you, so there's some things I got to say. Going to jot it down and then get it out, and then I'll be on my way.
You're not half the man you think you are.
And you can fill the hole inside of you with money, drugs, and cars. I'm so glad I never That's really powerful.
Baby with you.
Because you can't love nothing
unless there's something.
Okay, one of us has to sing. We can't both sing.
Oh, I feel so sad. I feel so sad.
I tried to help you. It just made you mad. And I had no warning about who you are. I'm just glad I made it out without breaking down and then ran so fucking far that you would never ever touch me again. Won't see your alligator tears because no, I've had enough of them. Such a good song.
Yeah.
And I like seriously, I stand with Bebe Rexha here. I don't know the context, but like, hate you.
Yeah.
G-Eazy.
So you do stand with her, even though you're saying like the teams.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like she handled this badly because if you don't know context and you're just reading this, it's like that's what you're mad about that they had your publicist text you. Like you sound crazy.
Yeah. And yeah. Yeah.
No, and then have you ever seen the video of Halsey performing on a stage and like somebody is like shouting G-Eazy and she literally stops the show and she's like, if you fucking say G-Eazy's name one more time, I will throw you out of here. She literally finds the person in the crowd. Like, hate.
No, I don't know their backstory.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore there.
Are Bebe Rexha and Halsey friends?
I don't know.
Like maybe Bebe's just had her own negative experiences.
Yes. I think Bebe's trauma that she's referring to has nothing to do with Halsey.
Wow.
I don't know if her and G-Eazy ever dated. Like, I don't know, but he's like an animal.
Got it. Okay. Well, she stands by what she said, and she wants you to know. Are you ready for our next story?
Yeah.
Some more Instagram news. Taylor Swift stayed up late to celebrate Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs ring ceremony, joining the party from Liverpool. So the ring ceremony was last night, and one of the Chiefs' Wags was live streaming the ceremony, and Taylor logged on from her account to watch. It was like 3 a.m. in Liverpool, and she's leaving comments and being super sweet and supportive.
No, like it's too much. It's just such like a regular thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy. Like when she wants to watch a live stream, she has to do it from her Instagram account with like 200 million followers, you know? Like
she definitely has
a
Finsta, but why hide the fact that 100%, but why hide the fact that you want to watch
your man?
Like where's the shame?
Yeah. And it's sad that like Taylor couldn't attend that because it's like a big, you know, community event.
Is it?
Yeah, everybody like gets all dressed up and there's like a whole ceremony and then you open the box.
Us that she couldn't attend that.
For her too, but yeah, for us.
It's like the potential because they
potential.
Still haven't walked a red carpet together.
No, you're right. But they've so many photos together.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy because of the 6-year Joe Alwyn relationship. And when people reference it, there are 3 photos. There's one of her in the blue Cinderella blue jacket.
Leaving that event.
There's one of them running from that door to get into the car.
Yeah.
And then there's the screen. It's literally a screenshot from Miss Americana when she runs off the stage after her first Reputation show and runs into his arms. And so they're just hugging and he's wearing a black baseball cap. And it literally could be anyone. 3 photos. Oh, no. There's also one where he's wearing a camera around his neck and they clearly just went for a hike.
Cute.
Yeah.
I just had a separate thought, but not worth going down. We need red carpet pictures. That's next for us.
What is the next big event?
Well, it would have been this, but we don't even know about things like this. I'm sure there's like some Hall of Fame. You know, I feel like they'll probably wind up going to a random thing, not the Grammys, which would be in 8 months from now. And
I do think it'll be at a Travis event, like an event for Travis. Because Taylor, you know, is very, I think, she's very proud. Like, she's this woman who's accomplished these insane things. And I think she's very careful to not ever let, like, a boyfriend or a relationship be the moment when it's like, no, I'm being celebrated for my work and my ethic and my talent and my business. But I think she'd be more than happy to like have it be like a moment for Travis. Like, she's like lifting him up because she's like the alpha, you know?
Yeah, but also I feel like when a female, especially a female artist, like goes to a Grammys or a red carpet and they have like albums that are coming out, especially with her most recent look at the Grammys, like it's very much a piece of art and it's the moment of like, this is, you know, there's codes
celebrating
in here, you know, and I stand on my own and like the outfit is a work of art.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really work when you're like posing with your man and that.
No, nothing ruins an outfit more.
Go to an event for him, get a dress off the rack, super cute.
Nothing ruins an outfit more that you've worked really hard on than like a man next to you in a photo, like grabbing your arm and your waist in a photo in a way that's not flattering. Like, fuck off.
Yeah,
fuck
like
off.
I don't want to turn to the side. I don't know what to do with my arm. Like, you just look at the dress.
Yeah, yeah.
So I agree it would be something for him and probably not something that we'll even expect.
Yeah, not something big, flashy, like one of these random sports things that like Travis goes to all the time and nobody thinks much of and they don't make the news.
Yeah, or like NFL honors.
No, that's like a big one.
That is a big one, but that's, you know, big fancy events in his realm.
Yeah. Wait, I also, actually, again, not another conversation I want to have. Like, it's like so uninteresting.
No, mine wasn't like uninteresting. It's just like, I can't explain why I'm not in the mood.
No, I would say it and then you would be like, cool. Like,
okay, now you have to say it and I'll say mine.
Okay. So I was saying, because speaking of football, when we were talking about Xandra yesterday, another connection like that I hadn't thought of is that Xandra potentially dating Danny Amendola. Of course, Danny Amendola is notoriously Olivia Culpo's ex-boyfriend.
Right.
Alex Earl also has this like crazy connection to the Culpo family because Braxton famously dated Sophia Culpo for like 10 years and then like allegedly
10
like
years, like 2.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Then like, you know, like left her on the side of the road. That's how she describes
like
it.
Dispute about when they broke up, when he was seen with someone else. Was that cheating? Like very contentious breakup.
Yeah, exactly. And public. So just like another, like these Xandra and Alex, like they can't get away from each other.
Well,
like
I think it's like
they're
a small
inextricably
circle.
linked.
I also think it's just a small circle. It's a small
Yeah.
world, like especially when you live in the same city and you like the same guys.
Also, I started following Xandra on Instagram and she posted a photo dump yesterday and like in the middle of it were like a picture of her and Camille at that event and then a picture of Tom Brady on stage. Like confirmed she was there.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so
Good.
I love that for her. Yeah, me too. What were you gonna say?
Mine was like something kind of different, but just when we were talking about Taylor and Travis, like we're ready for a red carpet picture. You're like, they have so many pictures together, and then we're like, but with Joe, she only had 3. And I feel like the privacy with Joe gets really clowned on right now because like he was the one who wanted privacy, and she's like, you know, unabashed in her love for Travis right now. But I could see a point, and I just feel like in some ways it like makes you look back like fondly on like to have a private relationship. Like it's not all bad. I feel like it's been chalked up to be like all bad now where like he was hiding her, but it's like, no, you have this thing for yourself. Like right now her relationship is so like for the public and in so many ways that's so good for her because she's living her life unabashed, but like there is a negative to that I think she was trying to avoid with Joe and being private. Then of course there's negatives to secrecy, but I think that like having that like special thing for you,
of course,
it's not all bad.
The narrative about like the privacy of her and Joe's relationship has completely shifted. Yes, because during the relationship we were all like
happy for her.
We respect. We think the fact that they're so private speaks to the seriousness and the specialness of the relationship, and it's totally Taylor's doing. Like, why wouldn't he want Taylor to come to his indie film premiere? It would give the film that nobody's talking about something to talk about. And yes, since they broke up, the narrative has completely shifted, and I think part of that is people decoding some of the lyrics. I don't know where like the shift. People just decided. No, it actually was never like that. It was never special. It was always Joe hiding her. I don't know where people get that like certainty and confirmation from, but you're right. Like, you are right about that.
I think we've learned that you would have thought the privacy was what Taylor wanted. We've learned that's more of what Joe wanted. But I don't think it has to be either extreme. Like I think it's somewhere in the middle where it's like, it was really nice. There were some things I would have wanted to go to with you that you didn't want to go to, but like, it's a nice thing. And that also doesn't mean that her thing with Travis isn't special. Like, it's just, it's different. And I would imagine, you could look back now and be like, oh, privacy was nice for a second.
But also, privacy in a relationship is not something Taylor Swift is currently eligible for. You have to think about also the timeline. There was a time, and especially a couple of years, when she was dating Joe that were like kind of a low in her career, like the Lover era. There wasn't this insane global like search for where is Taylor, what is Taylor doing, what is Taylor eating, what is Taylor wearing, who is Taylor with. Like she actually probably had access to a little bit more privacy during that time because she wasn't the number one star in the world. She was a relatively big pop star, but even Ariana Grande can leave the house these days and not get photographed. Taylor Swift cannot leave the house now and not get photographed.
Yeah, but that's also because of the relationship too now. Yeah.
What came first? Actually, what came first was her success.
Yeah, was Era's. That's why he gave her his number. Yeah. Which number?
Right.
Okay, well, I'm glad we shared our innermost thoughts, Turdy.
Me too. And you know what? They both led to interesting conversation. We shouldn't doubt ourselves. We are interesting.
I wasn't feeling doubtful. I was just like, do I need to make this point? Does every point need to be made all the time?
Sound off in the comments. Did either of our points need to be made?
I don't think that they did, but I don't think it took away from the show in any way. But I think people will understand why, now I know why sometimes you don't say everything that's on your mind. It's just like not everything needs to be said.
Yeah, this isn't like the best episode we've ever done because of those conversations we just had.
No, I think our honesty and candor about the nature of conversations is appreciated and could lead to the best episode ever.
And we're kind of like lifting the veil.
We're breaking the fourth wall.
What's your process? You just saw it.
We're so authentic.
You just saw it.
So authentic.
Hey.
Are you ready for our next story?
What, number 4?
3.
Yeah.
And it goes like this, if you're watching on YouTube.
Oh, she's breaking her heart hands.
I'm breaking my heart hands, but though they're not my heart hands, they're Gisele and Joaquim Valente's heart hands. Gisele and Joaquim have reportedly split. That's the first part of the story. And then it's rumored due to the stress after Tom Brady's roast.
Okay, I want to say, because that sounds so stupid. Like, that's obviously not the reason. However, do you remember that police footage of Gisele getting pulled over? Like, she's clear. She was distressed. Like, she actually is, I feel, someone who is currently extremely stressed based on that video.
Was that before or after the roast?
It was a little bit before. And, like, the roast could have put her over the edge. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, but maybe it's not.
Like, maybe that was, like most things are, the straw that broke the camel's back, but like there are a ton of other things. And if it was just that thing alone, it wouldn't be that.
To be completely honest, like I'm shedding no tears over this relationship ending. Like Gisele can do better than a no-name Krav Maga instructor, especially if Tom Brady's going to be out here dating like
Jiu-jitsu.
Irina Shayk, whatever. He's being linked to like all these supermodels. Like Gisele needs to seriously start dating. Like the thing is like who? And this is the game.
For sure. But like, let me challenge you. Why?
To win.
Win what?
The divorce. Everybody knows.
No, I know, but like really, like how do you win the divorce? By like being genuinely happy and moved on. And I actually think that dating someone like in the spotlight is more.
I'm petty.
No, I know, I know, but like if you're actually talking about like a real joy and happiness, then like great, the jiu-jitsu instructor, like if she's happy and she loves him, it doesn't have to be like tit for tat.
No, Leo. It does. Like Leo, right?
Yeah.
Even though, like, didn't she date Leo?
No, that's why it's funny.
I mean, there's nothing better than like going back with an ex.
Yeah, but she's 43.
Oh, aged out of the program.
Let's fill up the list. Okay, fine. Brad Pitt.
Yeah, add her to our Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, I guess like she could do that to be petty, but like that just speaks to like a real. I've moved on. That like I'm not playing these games. You know?
I do know.
So I feel like she's, if you really think about it, not on the surface, but like deep down, like she's winning the divorce because like she doesn't care. That's the opposite of love isn't hate. It's apathy.
It's indifference. It isn't love, it isn't hate. It's just indifference.
Yeah. Is that Taylor
Swift? The great Taylor Swift once said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hear you, but as it pertains to this story, like I'm personally not crying.
No,
you know, I'm not this.
I'm not. I said these hands are symbolic of someone else's.
You know what they are? They're just hands. I haven't quoted that infamous Leanne Locken line in a while. I need to bring that back into my repertoire.
I feel like it will come back as they do.
And And you know what I'm going to do after this? I'll probably go get my dick sucked at the roundup.
You should.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Because they're just hands.
Are you ready for
I do deserve it. Sorry, that just kind of like, I missed that. I do. Thank you. I hear he gets his dick sucked at the roundup.
And I know the boys who did it.
Oh, yes. And I know the boys who did it. She was so iconic. Seriously. I know she went out in like in a blaze of disgracefulness, like for like low-key being so racist. However, I'm holding space for two truths. Like, she did the work on that show.
No, like the graph of like Leanne's departure and the show ending, like they're just parallel.
They're
lines.
congruous, yeah.
It's just one line, actually.
No, and like that whole chirping Mexican thing, like she was so wrong for that. So crazy wrong for that. And especially, like, those are my people.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with any sort of slander. Like, seriously, come for my people. You guys know me. I'm so loyal. Or as my people would say, I'm a loyalita. However, like, they're just hands.
Yeah. Are you ready for our next story?
Yeah.
It's little casting news, a little picture next to picture. Who's playing who?
Okay, tell me. Is it a biopic?
It is a limited series. And it's actually a recast. I guess we already did this story and we said it was someone else. So it's
Joan?
No, Amanda Knox, which I know is like a gap for you in your knowledge.
It's a gap in like the cultural landscape of like a story that's so big that has so many people in a chokehold that I seriously like, I couldn't be bothered to care less about. I don't even know what she was accused of doing. And like, did she do it?
She was accused of murdering her roommate, and I don't think she did it. And she was acquitted.
Italy.
She was acquitted. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the glove did not fit, so they must acquit. But it was going to be Margaret Qualley playing Amanda Knox. I'm sure you know what Amanda Knox looks like. You know?
Yeah, a very regular, brunette girl. And honestly, Margaret Qualley is a perfect cast.
So she exited from that, and instead, someone who looks even more like Amanda Knox, Grace Van Patten from Tell Me Lies, will be playing Amanda Knox.
She's also a phenomenal actress, and I just also love her getting work. So I like this. I like this a lot.
I like this a lot. I had already forgotten about the Margaret Qualley thing, and I think she looks more like Amanda, and I think she needs her next big role.
And maybe this role is where I finally start learning about Amanda Knox. I do love a limited series.
Well, the rest of us watched the documentary on Netflix. That's why, and most of people, not me, because we were young, but like most people like followed the
lived it
story like it wasn't that long ago. And then recently she had a documentary on Netflix. Now she has a podcast. She was on Joe Rogan. I listened to a lot of her on Joe Rogan. Yeah. So now here we go again. I guess we haven't had a dramatized version, just like the documentary so far.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you can tell this story. But also I saw last week, like she's being accused of something again in Italy. Like she might have to go back. I think she's being like accused of defamation.
Okay, by the way, I did see that too. It's like, can this girl just stay out of Italy?
No, like she and Brittany Griner and their passports
in the
garbage.
Burned at the stake.
Yeah. Like, can they even arrest her in Italy if she stays here?
Do we have extradition? That's what it's called. Extradition laws?
I think that we do. Like, people who commit a crime here can't just run off to Italy, right?
You'd have to ask Joe Giudice.
Oh, that's so... Well, no,
because
that's not
he
what
literally
happened.
Committed a crime here and ran off to Italy. Now, ran off, I do mean deported.
Right.
But,
Let's look.
And where does he live now? Bahamas?
In the Bahamas, yeah. So he could be close to America.
Is that the closest? Like, wouldn't Toronto be like a 45-minute flight?
Toronto? Oh, to New Jersey?
Canada.
Sorry, probably. But do you see Joe living in Canada? No, he once lived there.
Not any more than I live in the Bahamas. Like, if you're like,
and do the girls always want to be going to Canada? Like, at least now when they go visit their dad, it's like, let's go, leap of faith at the Atlantis.
No, for sure.
He's kind of become like the mayor of the Bahamas. Like, anytime a celebrity or anyone goes to the Bahamas, like they see him, and they have to sort of like, pay their respects.
It's really crazy. So once you get deported, are you allowed to visit?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think you just get deported from like living here.
Being here.
I just feel like
you could like come back and sneak in.
I do feel like he got a raw deal. Like now in hindsight, like he definitely was guilty, but he wasn't guilty of like a dangerous crime. He was guilty of like being a thief.
Yeah. Yeah,
and there are thieves walking among us.
It was like the highest letter to the law that they punished him with and made an example out of him.
Yeah, and as a man, he has 4 daughters. Like,
no, and like violent criminals are running amok every day.
I just feel like we don't talk enough about
who aren't citizens here. They're not getting deported.
I feel like we don't talk enough about how like that was wrong. Like he literally has a whole family here that he can't see.
Yeah,
because he committed mortgage fraud. Like his, the victim of his crime was the government and a bank. Like,
that's why they were extra salty.
Yeah, and like we like personally as a taxpayer, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't know. I'm on the U.S. State Department website. They're telling me about the treaty between the Italian Republic and America when it regards to extradition. I'm not going to get my answer in a swift manner.
No.
Oh, wait. Does the U.S. extradite to Italy? The U.S.-Italy treaty allows extradition only for offenses punishable by a custodial sentence of more than 1 year or a more severe penalty under the law of both states.
So, yes.
So it's case dependent. So I don't know about her
But she wouldn't be going to prison even if she got...
She wouldn't?
No, for defamation, you wouldn't go to prison.
Oh, that's so true.
So she doesn't have to go, actually.
Great. Happy for her. Stay put, Amanda.
Stay put.
Are you ready for our 5th and final story? Which is going to lead into a Summer House recap.
No.
Okay. So let's get ready.
Are you?
I'm ready.
So the latter half of the show is brought to you by GNC, which... Thank you, because the latter half of the show is about to pop all the way off. We've got Queenie and Weenie of the Week, and we've got our Summer House highly anticipated recap. But before we get into that, let's talk about GNC, a sponsor here, but also like a sponsor of my life. And I don't mean that in like a financial sense. I mean in like a wellness sense.
Yes. Everything we do is GNC, and especially for you.
Yes, I've kind of been lauded as somewhat of a champion of the GLP-1 community. So I was on a GLP-1 medication specifically. I teetered between semaglutide and Ozempic, like by brand name, for a year. And it completely changed my life. I won't go into all like the nitty gritty. You guys know I lost about, depending on the day, because I've kind of like fluctuated a little bit recently. I lost about 70 pounds. Completely changed my life. I had been wanting to lose weight pretty much most of my adult life and was never able to do it. These drugs are life-changing, but they also come with their challenges while you're on the drugs, also after being on the drugs. And I get so many questions about what it was like to be on the drugs, how I'm doing after being on the drugs. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about, in partnership with GNC, because they've been a huge resource for me, just kind of talk about life on GLP-1, life after GLP-1, and kind of addressing some of the most common questions that I get.
Well, I feel like one really common question is, are you worried that you're going to gain the weight back after you've lost it and being off of the drug?
Of course, yeah, like it's literally all I think about. And I think a lot of people use that fear as kind of a roadblock for them. They're like, well, I'm not going to, go on this journey because I'll just gain it all back.
Yeah.
And I haven't gained it all back. Now I definitely I'm struggling with like the last 10 pounds. But compared to where I started, that's a huge accomplishment. And I've taken on a really, not strict regimen, but an important routine for me. And for me, like shopping at GNC and being stocked up on certain things have completely changed the trajectory of my journey. Like I definitely could have been one of those people who bounced back, but I made a commitment to myself and I'm like, if I can stay on a decent path, I will be able to like make this transition fully. And for me, it's really important that I don't get to a place of hunger. You guys know the feeling. Like I get, yeah, of course I'm hungry, but I get to a place where like a flip switches.
And it's like blind hunger.
And everything I've done that day, everything I've learned goes out the window, and I need to get my face in a cake like the minute that I can. And so, and I used to be a house like with no groceries. Like shopping and being like stacked up on good snacks, protein-filled snacks, is literally a life-changing part of this journey. And I've talked a lot about protein shakes. I have one every single morning. The GNC brand, so it's the Total Lean shake. They come in a bunch of different flavors. Personally, I'm exclusively drinking cookies and cream. You guys know how specific and picky I am. I love cookies and cream. And this is like the only brand I've seen that actually makes cookies and cream flavored protein shakes. I have one a day. Sometimes I'll drink it just plain. Sometimes I'll put it in my coffee. Olivia's been wanting me to get like an ice cream maker.
Yeah.
Because you can make protein ice cream with these shakes. And honestly, like, why not?
Honestly, why not? Yeah.
So GNC has their own brand. It's called Total Lean. And they make bars, they make shakes. I love the bars and the shakes. I also have one of the bars here. This is the birthday cake flavor, right? Vanilla birthday cake. I love birthday cake.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Flavors are so personal. So I'm not going to say like this is the best flavor, but it's my favorite.
I appreciate that. It's very subjective.
Yeah. So these keep me full. Sometimes they're not for me, but for some people they are meal replacements. Also, if you're just like on the go and you don't have time to stop for a big lunch, like having this on hand, like it will help you just get through the day. Like for me, my journey's at the point where like I'm just trying to get through the day without reaching that point. That's sort of like radioactive, red zone, alert, and having protein-filled snacks. So the shake has 25 grams of protein and only 170 calories. The bar has 15 grams of protein and 180 calories. Like that is substantial. That keeps me full. That keeps me from the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the line, the point of no return.
Yeah. So have you experienced any side effects since going off?
I experienced side effects on the drugs, and I think a lot of people talk about the digestive, let's say that. And I was told the second I left the office with the prescription, Dr. G-Eazy was like, get on a supplement. And I think a lot of people sort of wait for the problem to come before being proactive. And my biggest tip to people is get on it. And GNC is the destination for supplements. I love fiber supplements. The Total Lean brand, that's the same brand as the shakes and the bars, has a dietary supplement tube that I take. It's fabulous. Just shopping there for all of your needs. Like obviously the Total Lean brand is fabulous. That's their brand. But also I discovered other brands. I also, staying hydrated. I shop my Liquid IV from GNC. I shop my Bear protein bars. Like
protein chips.
They have everything. It's really just like a one-stop shop for your during GLP-1 journey, but also your after GLP-1 journey. And we're so excited to be working with them. If you visit gnc.com/toast and use our code TOAST25 at checkout, you'll get 25% off your order of GNC's Total Lean. That's gnc.com/toast with our code TOAST25 for 25% off today. Thank you, GNC, for sponsoring the remainder of this episode, which is about to pop off. It's about to be fabulous.
Yes, it is. Our fifth and final story is Summer House recap. The reunion concluded. It was a 2-part reunion, which
Let me pull up my notes.
Didn't need to be 3 parts, especially if they were going to all act so foul and infuriating. Like, I genuinely am angry. I don't know, where to take my ire. I guess it's good that we have this show so I can spew everything that I'm feeling. And I can't imagine how people who don't have a podcast, felt after watching that.
I think that the favoritism and sort of actually the deep-rooted misogyny was really on display last night because the fact that we went through this whole reunion and literally Kyle was never once asked about him calling his wife a fucking bitch.
Right, and lazy, and he's throwing, and he's having a temper tantrum.
No, but we addressed the lazy, And his answer was insufficient, but we did address it. Literally, the moment where he called her a fucking bitch was not addressed. And for me, that was a peak moment of the season. I think for a lot of people it was.
Right, and it wasn't just one fight over the summer. The two of them also had a pretty Ms. Summer as a couple. And I feel because Amanda opened up about what she had been going through, what can you really... You don't want to poke and prod after that.
Yeah, but I think it also makes Kyle's comments even worse.
Right.
Because he had known, after the wedding that she had, and that this is something that runs in her family, and she is, has spoken to him about her anxiety before, so he knows this is something she's susceptible to, and he knows that it's been going on. So you're calling your wife, who is struggling with her mental health, you're calling her lazy? That's even worse.
No, and you're saying, you're lonely?
Oh my God, and it's Kyle puts me to shame for making things about himself. I mean... It was absurd.
And I just feel even though, and I feel Amanda's not the issue in the in the fights. No. She doesn't say things. She's very even-tempered and very measured. But why can't we continue to ask Kyle what is going on with him and why he would act like that? And also all this, he would seem so stressed the whole season. Nothing, no feet to the fire, nothing.
No, and the conversation in particular about when it pertained to Lindsay and Carl and Kyle just chiming in the entire fucking time about Cocaine Carl, which Lindsay definitely was wrong for. However, I watched on Peacock, by the way, and they had some footage in there that I read on Twitter that was not in the original footage. And, Lindsay shared that Carl smokes weed and before the summer he had taken mushrooms. Was that on the regular episode?
No, it wasn't. And they had mentioned that at some point in the season, that he smokes weed. So when she asked, are you on drugs?
It wasn't out of the blue.
It wasn't out of the blue. And that is so germane to the fucking conversation.
I'm sorry. When your entire, position on the show for the last couple of years is surrounded around your sobriety, which is so important, your sobriety is fair game. And Lindsay sharing that they had went to a festival and taken mushrooms and actually Carl said he really didn't like it and he didn't want to do it again. That's important because a sober person is a sober person. And if you're California sober, who said that on Vanderpump Rules? And we were all clowning on him. James Kennedy. that's a thing people do, but you have brought your sobriety to the table, so we're going to talk about it now. And you're actually not completely sober if you smoke weed. So that's just something to talk about. And so the conversation about Cocaine Carl was bothering me so much because have we all fucking forgotten who outed Carl's journey on cocaine and that he came to work on cocaine? Kyle. So Kyle having the absolute fucking gall to sit there and be like, apologize. We're literally talking about his journey, Carl's journey with cocaine because of you. You brought it on this show and you literally destroyed your friendship with Carl because of it. So respectfully, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just be quiet on this one. It also really bothered me. I felt like, first of all, Lindsay didn't call him Cocaine Carl to his face. She's talking to her girlfriend and she said, and it's not a kind thing to say, but she said he's acting like Cocaine Carl. That's not accusing him of being on cocaine. That's saying he's acting so aggressive and crazy. Like how he used to act. Not saying I think he's on cocaine, but just that's how elevated he was. They made it what she said. And to me, her calling him Cocaine Carl behind his back is no different than Kyle calling Amanda a fucking bitch. Rude thing to say, but she's burned at the stake, and he's like, oh, sorry, oops.
And the part that probably bothered me the most when everyone was chiming in, just basically being like, Lindsay, this is your life. And, Carl actually didn't set you up to break up with you on camera, but even if he did, why should this, not be fodder for the show? You signed up for this, basically. And I just feel of all the people to say that to, when Lindsay is hands down, maybe Carl too, has been through the most on this show. She shared everything. She's been dragged. She shared her miscarriage, things you don't have to share. So to even insinuate that Lindsay would hide something from the show is so fucking disrespectful. Lindsay has bled out more than anyone. If only maybe Carl too. Carl with his brother and his sobriety. There are people on the show who hide. There are people on the show who really don't share much, who we don't know much about them, but they're interesting and, we
to level that accusation at her, and I think also the only other people who had put in that bucket of we see a lot about them not in a pretty light is Kyle and Amanda too. Their relationship's always just splayed out, but everyone else, Danielle has got her Robert, he comes once a weekend. Right. We don't know what goes on there. We don't know who the other people are dating or really what's going on with them. So to act like she's so wrong for trying to conceal this, and it's no, I gave you my whole fucking summer. I gave you every weekend. You came.
Summer was over. They also didn't say that. They didn't say that. We're out of the house. The rental agreement is up.
I'm off the clock. And I thought Andy was being so misleading too. Oh my God, he's infuriating. What's so crazy is Andy's kind of going through it in his personal brand right now.
Yeah.
I think Anderson Cooper was saying about Andy, he's just he looks like a swan, but he's fucking paddling underwater to stay up and not get canceled. And I think one of a legitimate accusation, criticism of Andy is the misogyny. It's so glaring, and this was on full display in the Summer House reunion, and this is amidst everything that people are saying about him. You would think he would at least try and act and pretend he gives a shit about the women and isn't playing favorites with all the boys.
No, and Lindsay, to me, I was reading, people were making such fire points, and people, I think we're on the same level as people, because I went to Twitter. I always like to see what people are saying, and people are just Bravo's this network that really built itself on the backs of women like Lindsay. Mm-hmm. Giving 10 years of her life to the show, going through probably the lowest points of your life and sharing that on the show, and for Andy and even the cast just to turn on her in this moment was so disappointing because, and I'm not a Lindsay apologist, Lindsay's toxic as hell, and we could go into that, but in this moment for everyone to be Carl's the victim and coddle him, and I think it was so, the most indicative moment was Carl sitting there being Lindsay, you have a boyfriend, you've been in a relationship since January. I haven't kissed anyone since our relationship ended. And, that's embarrassing for everyone was Carl, no. Am I the only one seeing through this, this stereo? And by the way, I'm sure you don't know this, but Captain Lee from Below Deck recently did a podcast where he told this story. And he basically said, I just want to say, I believe everything Lindsay's saying. I had the craziest fucking experience with Carl Radke. I've known him for a while. We're actually friends. He came on the podcast. It was great. We had a great conversation. He didn't ask for anything to be cut out. I think I promoted it on Tuesday that he was coming on Wednesday. Carl fucking calls me and lights me the fuck up, screaming, angry. He said, I've never seen somebody so crazy and angry in my life. Basically saying that, Captain Lee's using him clout chasing, whatever, and not to run the interview.
Captain Lee's clout chasing.
Right. And Captain Lee was like, it was so crazy. It was such a flip. And it was very similar to what Lindsay describes. He's like, we didn't really see an interview, and like, I want nothing to do. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So, and that's Captain Lee, who's not a shitster. Like, he's literally probably the most honest man on the network.
Right. So just back to what Andy was trying to clarify about production. Like, he's saying Carl didn't call production and say, I'm ending my engagement. And I think that's probably true. And Andy said, you know, you had a bad weekend, so we just wanted to follow up. And like, there could be a follow-up conversation with Carl and Lindsay, and it doesn't go well. But to like end it, kind of, I know everyone's like, how could you be blindsided? You were fighting all summer. But like, I feel like when you're about to end an engagement, like I would imagine there are like more stages where it's like, you're questioning. I don't think Lindsay questioned at any point if the engagement was going to end. I think the question she was asking herself the whole time is like, how can I make this work? Not like, is like, I don't know, maybe some people like take a break first. Maybe someone like moves out for a week, cool off. Like, to just abruptly end the relationship and to say that he went into that conversation just like wanting to talk to her is so untrue, because she couldn't have been more even-keeled, calm, and understanding. So what was he hoping that she would say that would have stopped him from ending the engagement?
And it's really crazy when you think about like how the whole cast and Andy last night were just sort of coddling Carl and not really holding him or Kyle accountable for anything that they did this season. And then I think back to last week where like, seriously, one of the worst roastings of a person ever, Wes. Like, everyone just sat in silence while he was being eviscerated, and we lived for it because he deserved it. But his crimes comparatively, like, are not even remotely close to, you know, Kyle calling his wife a fucking bitch, calling her lonely when she's going through, calling her lazy when she's going through like a deep depression. Carl, like, seriously being the fucking worst. Neither one of them got even like the remote ass handing that they needed. But when you think about Wes, now it feels harsh.
Yeah, and like West's crime is like leading on a person, not being serious, and like West is my least favorite person, but I feel like one in the group, especially the women, have no compassion for the fact that like Lindsay is a 38-year-old woman who just had her engagement ended. Like, these are real things that, and we know she wants children, and like, regardless of you guys fought and it was bad and you really thought that you should get married, like, she's starting from zero, from scratch at 38 years old, when the things that she wants, she's on a biological clock for. Like, have some fucking sympathy.
And there is a substantial rumor out there, I saw it on a bunch of blogs, that Lindsay is currently pregnant.
I hope so.
I fucking hope so too.
Oh my God.
With triplets.
What? With triplets?
With triplets.
Like, I was so glad to hear that she's in a relationship. And I feel like people were like, you know, first of all, their engagement ended in August, September. She started dating someone in January. Like, you've got to make haste. She's 38 years old and she wants children. Like, what do you guys think is going to happen?
No, I'm sorry. They could never make me hate her.
Carl has the luxury of not kissing anyone.
Right. Such victim energy.
And that's misogyny. He has that luxury and she doesn't.
Yep. Searching for victimhood, the Carl Radke story. I can't stand him. And also, it really bothered me when and especially the women on the cast, like, they know the value of content creation because they all do brand deals.
This was infuriating.
So for them to even compare Lindsay's job as a full-time content creator to Carl doing 3 brand deals in 1 year, stop.
No, and also, like, okay, so they both make money from the show and they're both influencers, though Lindsay's having enough success with it to stay in the apartment by herself.
Yep.
You know, she's doing really well with it. And no, it's not acceptable for that to be Carl's full-time job. Like, he needs, and also when and
by the way, it's exactly what we were saying yesterday. Influencing, I'm sorry, is a job for women, and it's a job where women make more money. And Carl doing it, being like, look, I did a brand deal. It's not the same as Lindsay building a legitimate business. And let's we not forget, Lindsay came onto the show with a real fucking job that she left for because she was making more money doing content creation and being a reality star than she was at her actually very legitimate, successful, high-paying job.
Right,
so
and
it's
also,
not the same.
Lindsay said all summer, like, ambition is like sexy to
hot.
me. So like, if we have the same job and you're like more beta at it, like, that's not hot to her.
Acceptable.
So I feel like nothing she said was inconsistent. It wasn't like there was this big thing that we didn't know and everyone's making her feel like so crazy for saying Carl didn't have a job when he needed to get a full-time job. Also, like, Lindsay can be a mom and an influencer and a reality star. Great. Like, Carl should be doing more
full-time
too.
Agreed.
Seriously, like, disappointing on the entire. I don't expect anything from like Carl and Kyle and whatever. They've got to protect their boy, but like Andy and the rest of the group just piling on
girls.
Lindsay. And the girls. And I know that they have their issues with her, and she sabotaged Paige's photo shoot, says Carl, who's a liar, and just sees things through the lens of his own feelings. Maybe he felt like she said that. I don't know.
It's all about his feelings.
So that was really frustrating. And so now Lindsay's in a serious relationship. She may or may not be pregnant. I don't think she should come back to the show.
I completely agree.
She should say, fuck you all, try and have a show without me. The only thing you can all agree on is how much you dislike me. Go ahead, go have fun.
No, it's true. And also, like, you have to think about, the show is having like a moment now, but the show like really was on three wheels for many years. Like they tried really hard to make Summer House a thing, and it has recently become a thing. Lindsay has been there from day one, bleeding out when no one was watching. How many sandwiches have you made me? Like she really, I'm sorry, is the backbone of this show. And she's toxic as hell and she's been crazy. But I'm sorry, there's something to be said for growth.
I just want to say,
I think she's the perfect
in all the
example.
time I've been watching Summer House, which isn't very long, like literally 3 seasons. Like I've not seen her be toxic, but I know I'm missing something.
Yeah.
But I feel like anytime you want to defend Lindsay, you have to caveat it with, well, yeah, she's Lindsay. I'm like, she's a girl doing
human
her
being.
best in the world, okay?
It's so true.
It's hard out there.
It's so true. And you're right. It was enormously disappointing. Because Kyle was annoying me too, but it's understandable. And everybody, you're right, gets like a mouthpiece. She's not gonna be, but she definitely was a contender to be Weenie of the Week. And it was Amanda Batula for last night's behavior. Like, especially given what's going on. Like, I think people have been speculating all week that her and Kyle are divorced.
Really?
So,
because
oh my God, yeah.
Video.
Yes, there's a video of Kyle and then Amanda's statement from last night's episode, which she was clearly like addressing her opening up about her depression. But her statement now, people are like thinking it's like really weird timing and like she's not been in a lot of her photos. Like people think she's on the brink of divorce, but she's out here pointing fingers. Like seriously, take a seat. Take a seat. Your husband called you a fucking bitch on national television. Like who are you to criticize?
Yeah. And then the mullet. Even though he looks so much better without it.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize. He's actually a very handsome guy. Oh my God, what an actual mongrel he was looking like all season long. I did like haircuts on girls are so major. On a guy, like I never even noticed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who the fuck let him walk around like that? Disgraceful.
Yeah. No, I'm
sorry.
seriously
And then
like angry.
Him becoming a DJ, okay. When Andy was like, oh, DJ James Kennedy, like, ready for this? How is Kyle becoming a DJ, like the Bravo DJ, any different than Craig investing in another canned cocktail company?
Trills.
Just feels kind of similar, no?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics for this next season. Like summer's around the corner.
Here.
They're going to start, like they always film July 4th and maybe the weekend before. Like they'll probably start filming in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Kyle and Carl and Paige, like that's a wild one. This video of Kyle that just came out, Sierra and West, like how are they going to be in the same house? West was on Viall Files. I only saw clips on Reels, but like,
okay, what is up with Nick Viall like dying on the hill of West? He's like out here making all these TikToks defending him.
You think?
Oh my God, have you not seen? He got roasted on TikTok.
No, I saw one video from the show where it felt like Nick was trying to give him like advice and be like, you done fucked up. Like
they recapped on their show part 1 and he like just basically was like, Sierra will see this in a few years like it was all her fault. Like it was a really crazy bad take. It was such a bad take and it was kind of shocking because Nick like has good takes. I feel like he's actually very leveled and I really like his wife and I feel like she's really smart too and she did the funniest like clip. She fucking hates Kyle. Like I feel like they were actually, and like they're in a unique space where like their job is to critique reality TV, but they're also friends with a lot of these people and they come on as guests. So it's an awkward balance sometimes to like criticize someone that you are friends with, but they always tell the truth. And I actually really respect that. He just came out of left field with the worst take on West, which of course he's entitled to.
But I believe you that's what's out there. But from what I saw, like it was a grilling and also like here's how you can be like a better man. And maybe Nick even sees a little bit of himself in West because he took a while to settle down, but I feel like he was always more intentional and like serious monogamous, you know, less so like West. I don't know.
No, I'll send you the clip where they're recapping the Sierra West thing after part 1 and it's just like the worst take a person could have.
But you can never make me hate the Vialls.
You like, could never make
me my postpartum queen right now.
I love her.
I love her. I love their family. I love their wedding.
And like her life is like seriously not relatable to me. Like she's in a total, but I just love her.
Wait, how is it not relatable to you? You're like a podcasting wife.
No, like duo. She's a mom. Like she's a mom.
Oh,
like
you're saying you like her motherhood content, even though it's not
I
good for you.
do. And I love that she got married. Like, I think a lot of people would wait till like they're fully out of the postpartum. And she like had to release a statement of people being like, your boobs look so big. She's like, I'm literally breastfeeding at my wedding. Fuck off. Like, some girls would wait for that to be done. I feel like she's so embracing mother. She doesn't give a fuck. Like, I love her.
No, I love, that's been one of my favorite follows recently.
And I've met her once and she's like just like gorgeous in person and so nice.
You love to hear it.
You love to hear it. So all that to say, there's a lot of interesting dynamics at play, yes.
And was Wes grilled? I don't know, but like what's also so crazy is Wes was the star of the season. He only spoke in the reunion when he was getting
his ass handed to
him. He didn't even say anything in the second part, like woof. And then even on the clip of him in Vial Files, he's like shrinking into the couch, like we barely see his face. It's like it's so crazy how he's such a different person when it's not all fun and games. Like he's not up for the task.
Did you also feel like production-wise in terms, because we talked last week about the lighting being really off on a lot of people, and then when Wes showed everyone his pit stains, was that in the uncut version? That was like an abnormal pit stain, and how everyone had to be fanning themselves with those cards. I've never seen that before. I feel like this was kind of like a janky reunion.
And I thought the lighting on Jesse Solomon was really bad.
They couldn't make me ever hate him.
No, never.
What would Jesse Solomon do?
No matter how many times he, jumps in to defend West or Carl.
I don't care. I literally don't care.
That's just Jesse.
That's just
Jesse. It's the wrong side he can see.
No. Hey, Jesse.
What's that?
From the Jesse Disney Channel original show starring Debbie Ryan.
I thought you were doing like, hey, Jesse.
Let's move into our... No, I wasn't. Let's move into our Queenie and Weenie of the week. Let's move in. Where Jackie and I dole out basically the biggest awards in podcasting, and we do it weekly. We give somebody the honor of being Queenie of the week and Weenie of the week, and it's just as it sounds. Were you acting like a Queenie this week? Well, you might be eligible for Queenie of the week. Were you acting in major Weenie-like energy? Were you operating in Weenie spaces? You perhaps could be eligible for Weenie of the Week. Now, it's important to keep in mind, Weenie and Queenie of the Week are not permanent.
It's a 7-day term. It's not a big deal.
Don't get comfortable. Like, you can be Queenie one week and seriously Weenie the next. And you can be Weenie one week and Queenie the next. Have we ever had somebody be both?
I think so. Maybe.
It's possible is all I'm saying. So, Jax, why don't you start us off with Queenie of the Week?
So after this conversation, I'm so tempted to make it Lindsay Hubbard because, like, I thought she handled herself in a Queenie-like manner. I'm really rooting for her, and I'm wishing her lots of love. But I had written down Caitlin Clark, another one who handled herself with such grace this week. I feel like she's been taking a lot of heat in the space.
She has.
And she's really handling herself in a graceful manner, in a Queenie-like manner.
I like that. I like that a lot. And who's your Weenie?
You don't want to do your Queenie?
You know, one thing about me, I have a really hard time coming up with a Queenie. So, and I obviously Lindsay's an obvious choice, but I feel like last week we did all Summer House people too, and it's like, we need to move on.
It's just because it's the conversation right before the segment and we're heated.
Yeah. But we have to think about the whole week of shows,
at a glance, yeah.
And so for me, Weenie is always super, super easy. And for me, this week, it's going to be Annalise Vanderpool.
That's so funny. And for me, I had a tie, and it was the two perpetrators of Loser on Loser Crime, and it was Annalise and JoJo.
No, Annalise, she's been kind of a sleeper Weenie, you know? Like, I've been seeing her content for an actual, 2 years.
But her Weenie-likeness flew under the radar, you're saying?
I mean, there was just always somebody being a bigger Weenie.
Yeah.
But I think this week it came to, a Weenie head.
Yeah, because it made the Fast Five, that's why.
It made the Fast Five, which is kind of we have a high bar.
We do, and I think it's the both of them.
Yeah. And then my Queenie of the week... It's so hard. Who is my Queenie of the week? I'm just so negative. Thank you. It's also hard to not just deliver.
Think about today
for Friday. Yeah,
we need to
give it at a glance
every day.
We actually do because yes, but nothing gave me more joy and relief and love this week than Gas X. So yes.
I think that's beautiful, La.
Thank you. That's our show. That's our week. We've got a really fun week next week. We are dropping a merch collection that you will start to see sprinkles of. So make sure you're following us on social media because we did a sickening photo shoot that we're really excited about. It's probably some of our best merch to date. I'm not going to lie.
Best merch, best shoot. It's going to be so fun. Summer collection. Summer, here we come. You guys, we're We're living for summer. We're like toxically summer people right now.
Summer. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Toast and Monday Morning Show, where we deliver the fast 5 stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast, and where podcasts can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Radio, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places where we listen to podcasts. Find us the Toast, leave a 5-star review about how beautiful, about outstanding, about how wickedly talented we are. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Love ya. Bye.